I've been doing the carnivore diet for a little over 6 months now, and it's going well. I actually really like the meals. I like the different food prep options that I'm learning. I especially love the YouTube channel Ketogenic Woman. She does fantastic recipes, and she's just a great teacher and does a wonderful job. And I've had a chance to chat with her a little bit a few times, and we actually don't live super far from each other, so it's kind of neat to have her, locally, that we can share information about where to buy things and whatnot as well. So, and sales that come up and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. So I highly recommend Anita at Ketogenic Woman. And I'm also enjoying some of the other channels as well. Dr. Barry, Dr. Chafee, Nutrition with Judy is fantastic. There's quite a few great channels out there with lots of interesting information. So I'm enjoying that and appreciating the hard work they're putting into their videos. And I am noticing some improvements from carnivore. Obviously, what I would like to see is my MS basically just become completely non-existent. I'd love to see my next MRI have no lesions. That would be really great. But I've also gone for a really long time with small lesions here and there, but no symptoms. So that can happen for anybody. That doesn't just happen with MS. If you have migraines, which I also get, if you have, there's a number of different things that can cause little spots of inflammation in your brain that are not MS. So I'm not really worried about the little ones. I'd love to see them all gone, just because that would help the doctors to see that I'm actually doing things that are helpful for my health, and maybe they don't need to be trying to force meds on me all the time. I was diagnosed in 2011 with MS, relapsing remitting MS, and at the time was told by my MS neurologist not to take the drugs because he just, after a long career of treating MS, found that the drugs caused so many side effects and did not actually help anybody in the long term. So I really, really appreciated him saying that. And unfortunately, all the other neurologists I've had since then disagree with him because they are there to sell the meds. That's what they've been trained to do. So that's what they do. And they will push hard to get us on them no matter what. And sometimes they don't want to see me anymore if I'm even a little bit resistant. I will always look into what they recommend, but I don't always, well, I haven't taken any of the drugs, let's put it that way, not for MS. With the epilepsy, I am, of course, the reason why I went carnivore was for the epilepsy. We don't know for sure if it was caused by the MS or if it's something that just comes alongside with the MS sometimes when you hit the perimenopause stage, which is when many women do develop epilepsy in this range because of hormone fluctuations. So it could be just that. I don't know. I am on a drug for epilepsy. It's a benzodiazepine. It's not actually an anti-epilepsy drug. And it seems to be working and not giving me side effects, or at least bad ones anyway. So I'm sticking with it, and I'm guessing I will have to be on it probably for the rest of my life as long as I don't have any weird reactions along the way, because coming off of benzos is a nightmare. I know. I've seen it. I've read the stories. I've watched the videos. I know. It's horrible. So I hope I don't ever have to quit it, but who knows what will happen, especially being in Canada, and people are having a hard time getting drugs coming through to the drug companies these days. And yeah, so there's a lot going on, but I'm still doing carnivore and hoping that by the year mark, I'll be able to say that there's a lot more good things going on and that I'm healing and I'm feeling better. And hopefully we'll get this all sorted out so that I can actually go back to being functional and maybe one day, years down the road, maybe be allowed to start driving again. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath, but that sure would be nice because I live in a place where, there isn't really a bus to get you where you need to go. So I'm pretty stranded where I am, and that's not ideal with epilepsy. No, I get it. I'm not going to jump in the car and drive because I would never want to risk having a seizure while driving. That's a terrifying thought. So you don't have to worry about that. But I do miss having that freedom, even with MS chronic fatigue, where I could at least pick certain days where I could go out and go do some shopping or run some errands or whatever, and I can't do any of that anymore. So that's frustrating, but it's a long, slow process. When your body's in as bad a shape as mine is, it's going to take a long time to get it sorted out. There's no quick fixes, and so I'm just continuing to work on it, and carnivore is a part of that. Working with my functional medicine doctor is another part. Working with my functional keto nutritionist is another part. So what I did find for a while with carnivore, because I was trying to go very high fat carnivore, which is generally recommended, and it's especially recommended if you have epilepsy because you want to get those ketones as high as you can without being crazy about it, but you want them to be in a good good solid level and regularly, because that helps to balance your body. It's also good for your energy, teaching your brain how to work with the energy source that is the best for it, which would be ketones. And the negative side effect I had from that was that in testing my ketones, I also test my blood glucose levels, and they have been a few times very, very low in the mid-afternoon. I don't know why. That seems to be the time they just tank. So I've had to change what I do a little bit. My nutritionist suggests that I cut back on the fat a little bit and increase the meat a little bit more, so that I'm just getting a little bit more nutrition into my body. And that does seem to be helping to stabilize. I'm also having a snack in between meals now, which is not great. And also in the evening, again, I can't do intermittent fasting because of currently my blood glucose levels being a little weird. They're never high anymore. They were once, many months ago, but weirdly, because I was already on carnivore at that point, and they were really crazy high, and then just the one time, and then they were better. But now what I'm finding is that in the afternoons they get low, and down to like 2.8, 2.9, if you know what that means. That's like dangerously low. So, and I don't feel it, which means apparently because I don't feel it, I could all of a sudden pass out if they get that low, because I won't have any warning of feeling off or anything like that. So that's a little bit scary. So I'm doing the little snacks. I do a little bite of pemmican, which I make myself now, which is great. Kind of addictive, so I have to be really careful to only eat a little tiny bit, but it's very, very dense nutrition and dense calories, so I have to be careful there. But it's a great little quick snack in between meals and then in the evening. And I hope that one day I can kind of ease off of that as well and get back into more something along the lines of intermittent fasting or even more fasting, because I know that's the best way to lose some weight. As I increased my fat over the past couple of months, I did gain weight, and like 10 pounds, which is a lot. And I already need to lose weight, so I was not happy about that. And I'm hoping that now that we're moving back into a lower fat, still having fat, but not a crazy amount of fat, now that we're switching down to that again, I'm hoping that those pounds will start to come off again. That would be really great, because, you know, it's frustrating to have your clothes not fitting as well and that kind of thing. So, and also this is my lifestyle. This is the way that I eat now. And I want to make sure that it is going to keep me healthy, and gaining weight is not going to keep me healthy for sure. So, but it might be one of the things I have to put up with until my body starts to actually heal. I'm still working on getting my digestion working properly. That is a long, slow process, because I have had digestion problems since I was a little baby. So if you have an entire life of gut biome problems, then they're not going to fix overnight either. They're going to take months, maybe years, to actually improve and work properly. And if I can get that working properly, then I'm hoping that the way that I digest the food will work better and give me better nutrition, help settle things down even more. That would be really great. And another interesting thing that has happened is that we are into spring, and I live in an area where pollen count is extremely high, like extremely high. The cars are covered. When I sweep outside on the deck, I've got a pile of pollen. It's everywhere. Normally this time of year, I have horrible hay fever allergies. I'm a mess. I'm sneezing and runny nose and coughing and all of that. And so far this year, I'm having none of that. Even when I'm totally exposed to the pollen and it's just in my face and whatever, I'm not having any reactions to it. And that's like the first time probably in my life that I've not had reactions to pollen. So that I think might be because of the carnivore. I can't imagine it could be because of anything else. So that's pretty cool. And I hope that's a long-term effect. I have a family member who has decided to just start carnivore and is having a horrible time with allergies because it's so early in her diet. So hopefully if she's able to stick with it for, the next year, maybe next year she'll join me and be in the no more allergies season of spring, which would be great, because spring's a lot more fun when you're not dreading all of the pollen. You can enjoy the flowers and enjoy the sunlight and all of that. So far so good. My journey is definitely longer and more difficult than a lot of people. A lot of people, they just start losing the weight, start feeling great, and everything just improves and gets better and better and better for them. I'm not one of those people. My situation is going to be more difficult, and it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of adjusting things. One more thing I am doing is hoping this week to start adding egg yolks into my diet, which I have been egg-free for quite a while, because I am sensitive to the egg whites for sure. I've tested showing that I am, and I know that I am from how I feel when I eat eggs. So I have cut them out completely, but since egg whites tend to be the problem, I'm hoping I can add yolks back in. And then my husband can eat the egg whites. We'll make him some various types of foods with that for him, hopefully. But I'm excited because that's a whole new product instead of just meat all the time. You know, having egg yolks as an option would be so amazing. And I love eggs, like love eggs. So I'm pretty excited and I hope it works. But we'll be very careful and cautious and see how my body does, see if any inflammation happens, if any stomach problems happen or anything like that. It's got tons of good nutrition in it that we're trying to increase that are good for the nervous system, good for the brain, and all sorts of bodily systems. So egg whites would be good too, but I can't have them. Same with dairy. There's some good things about dairy that I can't have dairy, so I can't get those things. It's just not an option. But egg yolks, that's something to be excited about and look forward to. So that's where we are right now. I want to check in again in a while and see and let you guys know if anything new improves over time, if I get more improvement in symptoms. It is a little bit hard to tell for sure exactly what's causing things to be better as far as my seizures. I was also having dysautonomia or POTS kind of symptoms. We don't know that it is that for sure. I am seeing an internist to try and identify if that's what it is. But unfortunately, by the time I got through the wait list to see her, my system had settled down, which is not unfortunate. That's wonderful. That's a great blessing. My heart rate has gone back to steady for over a month now, which is amazing because it was all over the map for quite a while there. And very scary because tachycardia comes hand in hand with seizures and we don't know which causes which. So I would always keep an eye out, and if I saw my heart rate really skyrocket, then I knew at least lie down and wait and see if a seizure is going to happen, and sometimes it would. So I'm not having that now when I get up, when I get moving, and yeah, so I'm definitely more stable overall, which is really amazing. I'm hoping that might also be because I am hopefully at the end of dealing with withdrawal from the lamotrigine that I was put on, that I was on all of last year, or almost all of last year, and then a bit of the year before, almost a year. It did stop my seizures, or at least I didn't have any while I was on it, but at the same time I had a huge number of side effects, and then the withdrawal has been insane afterwards. More seizures than I've ever had in my life after I quit lamotrigine, and the derealization, depersonalization that it caused for months, that was, I mean, I have read stories of people coming off of benzodiazepines who had less problems than I have had from the lamotrigine. So, and I've also read stories of people who have both had benzos and lamotrigine, and they found coming off lamotrigine even worse. And it just breaks my heart that people don't know how horrible it can really be coming off of, or even being on. For me, it was terrible to be on it as well, but it really affects all the systems in your body. And even once you leave it, then your body still just doesn't figure out how to work properly anymore. And that's that withdrawal period. For some people, it's weeks, for some people it's months, and for some it's years. I'm hoping mine was just those months and that I'm past that now, and not expecting any more seizures, or the derealization has pretty much gone away. It's a little hint of it here and there, but mostly it's gone. So thank the Lord, because that was, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. My goodness, just awful. You just really don't want to be around anymore when you're living like that every day, all night. And I'm sleeping better, which is great. And that's probably because of the benzo. So again, if I have to quit that, I probably won't sleep, and that would be really horrible too. So I'm going to have to try to be on that for the rest of my life, probably. If I do come off of it one day, I'll probably have to take maybe a couple of years to slowly wean my way off. Maybe, if that's even possible. And hopefully that won't be a major issue. Hopefully just being better, healing with Carnivore, and with the nutrition that I'm doing with my functional medicine doctor and my nutritionist, and working all that together, then I am hoping and praying that will help a lot. Because I know a lot of people, when they quit drugs, they're already on like sugar and gluten and things like that are going to cause a lot of problems, or MSG, things like that can really, really mess with your system. I'm not on any of that and haven't been for well over a decade. So hopefully, as we move forward with Carnivore, I will be in better and better shape to deal with the drug situation. And I really would love to get off of them at some point, but we're not there right now. And I do hope one day, maybe years down the road, that I will be allowed to drive again and have that freedom. That would be really, really cool. But one day at a time. We have a long way to go to get there. So for now, we'll just keep on eating meat and enjoying all of the great recipes and cooking options that are available on YouTube. There's just so many, and it's good to have those. And to learn lots of new ways to cook meat that I never knew before. Different kinds of meat that I've never had before. Beef tongue. Who knew beef tongue was so good? I love it. And I never would have guessed that even a year ago. But now that I know about it, then I like to add it into my diet kind of regularly when I can. So that's just one example. There's lots of options there. And beef is so nutritious. You're going to get more nutrition from beef than from any single product out there of any kind of food. So that is one to keep in the diet, and ruminants in general, really super, super good for you. But I do a little bit of other meats as well, but those are my focus, and I think they're helpful. So I'll stop my rambling now. Thank you for watching, and God bless.